This is another Poets at War General Report. And here's your General, Joshua David Ling.
Good luck.
Hello, friends and folks. Good to see you, good to hear from you, etc., etc. This is the General's Report. And this episode of Poets at War that's coming out on Friday, for those of you who are listening then, I need to do this a little bit more as an intro to Poets at War than I normally would. Normally, General's Report's just supposed to be a report from the front. But we have something very special for you today on Poets at War. And if you're just watching the General's Report, look at Poets at War. Yeah. The stars aligned in such a way that everyone was too busy to do a full episode of Poets at War this week. But I did have something ready to go in the can that's been, it really kind of came about right at the time, right at the perfect time. And it's not just a canned thing. I shouldn't say that. It is the first full episode of Guardians of Atlanta in the new format that I've been doing here on the Joshua David Ling channel, and presented to you for the first time on the Brood channel. This will also be the first inaugural Brood Tales. And if you're a member of the Brood and want some of your stories shared here, I can read them, you can read them, we can share them however you want, and they can be a regular part of Poets at War. For those of you who listen in the Brood, I would love to share your stories. Short stories, snippets of stuff, whatever you've got that you really want shared, would love to get it up here. So, yeah. The first episode of Guardians of Atlanta, let me just get into Guardians a little bit. Guardians originally started long time ago, actually 20 years ago this year, right around this time, right around summer, spring 2005. And I wanted to create a superhero group. I was really into Teen Titans at the time. And one of the main things I knew I wanted was a leader who was a knight. But a futuristic knight, someone who had a lot of cool functionality beyond just like normal knighthood. Maybe started as sort of like a Renaissance-y sort of, reenactor sort of thing, but became a real bona fide superhero. That was the original idea. And then it changed, it morphed. And the second one that I created was Amira, who you'll get to at some point. She also has an interesting set of powers, but she's a copier. She copies powers, and her original name was Copycat, but that changed. And then, further building out the team, I thought of Bobby. That was his original name. He was originally just kind of a weird, weird magician kids. You know how they are, but I've sort of jazzed him up, made him a carnival trickster later on. And then there was a fourth. And she would ultimately be the first when I really started writing this story in earnest instead of just playing around with ideas. And her name originally was Alexandria. Interesting, I know. And she was going to be a cowgirl that her family farm. First of all, she's a cowgirl that controls the weather. That was always the case. But then she became a character who was sort of more redneck. She's from Kansas originally. Out in the middle of nowhere, and aliens attack her family farm, and she has to use her powers in a comedic way to stop them. I may end up writing that version of her at some point, just for the fun of it, because it's such a silly, ridiculous idea. It feels like a Cartoon Network cartoon, to be honest with you. But yeah, the thing that really changed that, and the thing that really began Guardians of Atlanta in earnest, and really fueled my foray into epic poetry, was I was walking home about 3 miles from work one day, and I was walking home because nobody could get me in a reasonable amount of time. And so it's a short enough walk. It's doable and everything. So I walked home, and on my way home, crossing over county line from Fulton County into Forsyth County, and just generally moving, through various plots of land, across next to a golf course, next to a liquor store, next to this, next to that, so many different things. The grass changed like 6 times, like the species of grass, and almost none of them were native to what I remember having growing up in my yard and in adjacent yards and things like that. And I just kind of started getting mad about, it was hot. I was already mad about that, but I was also mad just about no one cared enough to try to be true to the place. They were trying to bend the place to what they saw and what they thought the land should be. Meanwhile, the trees are growing up tall and they're overshadowing everything anyone's doing. It was just this interesting back and forth. There was construction going, and I had all the same feelings that Cyrus felt during Home is Where the Heart Remains, which you'll be hearing shortly. I just wanted to kind of get into that a little bit, and it made me angry to the point where I wanted to rap about it. And I created the initial rap album with it, which if you look hard enough, you can find it. And yeah, so this story's been with me for quite some time. That part of the story came about in, I want to say 2016, somewhere around there. And I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. And if you are just watching the General's Report, I'll link the Poets at War episode down in the bottom so you can actually hear the story. But thank you all for being part of Poets at War, part of the Brood, and I hope you enjoy this. I hope that it gets you jazzed for what's to come. We have a lot to talk about in the coming months, and a lot to do work-wise. So everybody, be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War.